All right, guys, we're going to be covering 5.4, which is on paid leave, retirement, pension, all kinds of fun stuff. So we are going to do some examples together that look like your homework. So the first thing before we get started is that a reminder that if you're paid bi-weekly, that's 26 paychecks per year, versus if you're paid every week, it's 52. So bi-weekly means you're paid every 2 weeks of the year. So that's just a little review from the last section, but I didn't want you to forget. All right, so first example, Allie has worked at a fashion magazine the last 5 years. Her current salary is $64,000. When she was hired, she was told she would get 4 days of paid vacation. For each year that she worked at the magazine, she would gain another 3 days, to a maximum of 26. How many paid vacation days does she now have at the end of 5 years? All right, so the first year, and PTO, you'll see that in the book, is paid time off. So these vacation days means she still gets paid even though she's not there. That's paid time off. So the first, when she's hired, she gets 4 days. And after completing a year, she gets 4 plus another 3 days, so that's 7. Year 2 would be 7 plus 3, and so on, and it would keep going. So she gets her, like kind of a formula. She gets 4 days plus 3 times the number of years she's worked. So it's saying she has worked 5 years. So 4 plus 3 times 5, 4 plus 15, that would give me 19 days, which this is work days. That doesn't count Saturday and Sunday. So that is almost 3 weeks. Over. That's right. That's 3 weeks and almost 4 weeks of paid vacation. So it's pretty good after 5 years. So you can take a whole month off almost. Number 2. Ina's employer offers a sliding paid vacation. When she started work, she was given 2 paid days of vacation. For each 4-month period she stays at her job, it's increased by 1 day. So in part A, they'd like us to write an equation to represent, to basically use to figure out how much vacation time she gets. So let X represent the number of 4-month period and Y the total. So right when she starts, she gets 2 paid days plus 1 times each 4-month period, which is X. And they want that to equal the total, which is the letter Y. In part B, how much time will she have after working for this employer 6.5 years? Now notice the issue, 6.5 years, but her vacation time is calculated based on 4-month periods. So I need to know how many 4-month periods are in 6.5 years. So I'm going to have to multiply this by 12 to get the total number of months. So that gives me 78 months. And then divide that by 4 so I know how many 4-month periods there are. So 78 months divided by 4 gives me 19.5 4-month periods. So now I can plug this into the equation we calculated up above. So 2 plus 1 times 19.5, that gives her 21.5 days of vacation. All right, number 3. When Tyler started at his current job, his employer gave him 5 days of vacation time with a promise of 5 additional vacation days for each 2-period year he remains with the company. And that's a maximum of 5 work weeks of paid vacation. So it says let X represent the number of years he's worked and Y represent the number of paid vacation. So right when he starts, he gets 5 plus he gets 5 more times every 2 years. So if he's worked 4 years, he only gets 4 divided by 2, he only gets 2 more increases. So we have to take the years divided by 2 because he gets additional vacation time every 2-year period. And this will equal Y. Part B, it's been 8 years since he began working. So how many paid vacation days? So he starts out with 5 plus 5 times, he's worked 8 years, but it only increases every 2 years. So that gives me 5 plus 5 times 4, which equals 25 days. Now, 5 work weeks of paid vacation time would be 25 because you only get 5 days. You only work Monday through Friday typically. When will Tyler reach the number of, and did I calculate this wrong? I did. Sorry, I was looking at what I did at home. Of 5 work weeks. 5 times 5 is 25. So he exceeded it. He exceeded the number of days. I read that wrong at home. In year 8. Sorry, I was looking at my work and I read it wrong. Next. Number 4. All right, so this says that it's another example just like the last. So this is the last one we'll do, and then we'll move on to pensions. When Alton started his current job, his employer told him that he had 1 day of paid vacation until he reaches the first year. Then at the end of the first year, he would have 3 vacation days. And after each year, his number of vacation days would triple, up to 27 days of paid vacation. All right, so he gets 1 day when he starts, plus 3 times every year in addition to that. Now, because this is 1, we automatically assume that at the end of year 1, he's already earned 1. So day 1, he gets 1 day. At the end of the year, he's going to triple. So the equation will just be 3x equals y. So for part B, how many vacation days? Well, if he's worked 2 years, he should have 6. In what year will he have maxed out? So when will 3 times x equal 27 days? Because 27 days is the maximum. Well, if you divide by 3, he will have maxed out in 9 years. So after 9 years, he can't earn any more vacation days after that. So moving on to different types of problems. So these are on pensions and such. So Martha employee benefits include family health care, healthcare and pensions. She contributes, you can't even see this problem. She contributes 18% of the cost. Martha gets paid bi-weekly, and $108 is taken out of every paycheck for family health care coverage. How much does her employer contribute annually? All right, so first of all, she gets paid bi-weekly. So she gets paid 26 times. So 26 times $108 is taken out to give us a total of $2,808. And that represents, so what does this represent? This represents 18% of the total cost of her health insurance. She's only paying 18%. So this is her 18%, but I know this is 18% of some large number. So in order to find what that large number is, I'm going to divide by the 0.18. And if you use your calculator, you should get 15,600. Now that's the total. So she contributes 2808. So 15,600 minus her contribution will be what her employer is paying for, because that's what they want. They don't want the total. They want how much her employer is paying for. So if you subtract these two numbers, I got $12,792. That's how much her employer is contributing. She's contributing the 2808. So this is her contribution. Our answer represents her employer's contribution. Number 6, Rachel contributes 20% of the cost. This is a $38 deduction from her weekly paychecks. So what is the total value of her coverage for the year? Well, she gets paid weekly, so 38 times 52, right, because she's getting paid weekly, equals 1976. Now, that's her contribution. It wants to know the total value of her coverage. So not just her contribution, the total value. So let's go over what this represents. She pays 20% of a large number, and that 20% came out to be 1976. So to find out what the total value of her plan is, we're going to divide by that 0.20. And so the total value of her plan is $9,880. Health insurance is so expensive. So if you can find a job that has health coverage, it is worth it. So you're actually making a lot more if you take that into consideration. The next one, Dan's employee benefits include health care coverage. His employer covers 78% of the cost, which is a contribution of $1,599 towards the total coverage amount. How much does Dan pay for his coverage? So his employer, and I spelled that wrong, his employer covers 78%, which is a contribution of $1,599.78. So this is really cheap insurance. So I'm going to divide by 0.78. And that gave me x equals 2051. So if this is the total, I'm going to subtract what his employer contributes to find out what Dan contributes. And so if you subtract, I got that he only contributes $451.22. All right, last four. So number 8, and this is a little more intense. So at the Chocolatier Incorporated, there are 2 factors that determine the cost of health care. If you make less than $65,000, you pay $52 for individual and $98 for family. If you make at least, meaning you make more, then it costs $67 per month for individual and $122 per month for family. So Graham makes less than $65,000. So his contribution, first, it says that he gets paid, he makes $62,800 a year. His yearly contribution is 10% of the cost. So 62, oh, whoops. So 52, because he pays for individual health care, so that's $52 per month. So that times 12 months equals 10% of the total cost. So that's how you would set it up. It's $52 because he makes less than the 65 and he pays for individual. So that gave me 624 equals 0.10x. Divide by 0.10 and I got 6,240. Next one, Claudia makes more than $65,000 and she pays for family health care. So more than 65, family health care is $122 times 12 months. So I'm first going to figure out that. 122 times 12 is 1,464. Her employer contributes $1,052 per month. So this is her employer, which is a total of 12,624. So to figure out her percent, it says what percent does Claudia contribute towards the total coverage? You would divide 1,464 by 12,624, and that gives me 11.6%. Next one. So these are on pensions. So Liz's employer uses a formula. Retiring employees receive 2.1% of their average salary over the last 4 years for every year worked. So she's worked 20 years, and here are her last 4 years' salary. Now it says average. So I noticed there are two 66,000s plus the 73,000 plus the 75,000. And to find the average, I would divide. So I'm going to add those all up and divide by 4. And I got 70,000. Now it said her formula is her average salary times 2.1%, so 0.021, times years of service, and she's worked 20 years. So this is how her pension is calculated. So if you multiply that out, I got that she earns a $29,400 pension, which isn't that much. But it's kind of a bonus on top of your retirement. All right, number 10. As part of their employee benefits, Light and Power Electric Company receives a pension that is calculated by multiplying the number of years worked times 1.875% of the average of their 3 highest years' salary. So she's worked 30 years, and here's her. We need to find the average of these 3 salaries. So 92,000 plus 94,800 plus 96,250. So I'm going to add those up and divide by 3. So I calculated an average of 94,350. So it says it takes her average, so 94,350. She's worked 30 years, and then times 0.01875. So that is a pension of $53,071.88. Last one. In Ben's state, weekly unemployment is 55% of a 26-week average for the 2 highest salaried quarter. So one quarter he earned $22,400. So it mentions a quarter is 3 consecutive months. Plus the next quarter, which is $22,800. So to find the average, there's only 2 of them. I'm going to divide by 2, and you should get $22,600. So I'm going to find out his weekly contribution, so $22,600. And he gets 55%. And then weekly, there's 26 weeks left. Whoops. So it'd be 55% of his salary. Well, you know what? Let's do it this way. 22,600 divided by 26 weeks. Sorry, I was trying to think of the easiest way to calculate it. And I got 869 and 23. And then he only gets 55% of that. So 869.23 times 0.55. So unemployment is not the full paycheck. It's only a percentage. So he would make $478 and $8 per week. And that completes 5.4.